Hey there, welcome back to No Pants Profits. My name's Richard, and yesterday we were in Juneau. Well, if you watched yesterday's series, yesterday we were in Juneau, which has my second favorite restaurant in the world. Told you my first favorite restaurant is called Ode Hansen, and that's in my first favorite city in the world, which is Tallinn, Estonia. But I have a second favorite city, and that's where we're going today. And today we're going to do the stuff that, yes, sometimes the tourists do, but the tourists don't. I mean, it's a tourist town, let's be honest. We're going to do the stuff that the cruise ship doesn't tell you about because they don't pay the money. We are in Skagway. Well, almost in Skagway. We're walking to Skagway right now. You see, there is the Carnival Luminosa right there, and we got a little path. We are headed towards Skagway. What the hell is Skagway? Skagway is, in my opinion, the inspiration for Frontierland in Disney. They'll tell you, they'll lie to you, they'll say it's from somewhere else, but Skagway is the epitome of Frontierland. Skagway's got some great history to it. It was a gold mining town. It's got some stranger history to it as well, meaning a lot of crime going on and stuff here. But the main reason people come, the tourists come, is to take the train. We are taking the train next week. So you see, we have a choice. We're at a crossroads. Are you taking the train or are you going to town? I highly, highly recommend, if you only have 1 week in Skagway, take the train. If you're only stopping in Skagway one time, Alaska's on your bucket list, you don't plan to come back, take the train. I'm not taking the train this week. Like I said, we're going to go out. We're going to see a whole bunch of different stuff. There's some breweries here. There used to be a good place to get some good reindeer chili. You can hear those trains. The trains go up into the mountains and actually go into Canada. And that's something you'll be along for, because we're doing that. But today we're going to go to some knick-knack shops. We're going to go to the Morning Wood. We're going to see a play all about Skagway called The Days of 98. It is actually the longest running play in the world, but nobody respects it as that. They say Phantom of the Opera. They say Les Mis. No, it is the Days of 98 show, and this is its 100th year. Started in 1923, along with, I guess, when Disney was formed, because Disney just turned 100 years old. And it's where Old Wild West plays came from. It tells you the story of this town, the story of a con man named Soapy Smith, who was kind of like the mob leader of Skagway, I guess, before there were mob leaders in the United States. So let's go into the town of Skagway, have some ice cream, have some barbecue. I'm seeing what's open this year because things have changed, times have changed, but I hope the charm of Skagway has not. A lot of people come here, turn around and say there's nothing in this town. I think there is so much in this town, and my goal is to show it all to you today on No Pants Profits. So this entire town of Skagway is run by White Pass and Yukon Route. That is the train line that is 30-ish miles. That I've never done the whole line. So, you generally do half the line up the mountain. You stop on top of the mountain and turn around. For the first time ever next week, I'm doing the whole line. Now that's a whole day thing. That's about a 12-hour day. But yeah, it's all run. We haven't even made it to the town yet, but it's all run by the White Pass and Yukon Route. You kind of see there's a train station that we're going to get to and everything like that. But I mean, just look at the scenery here. And the Yukon Route, there is one road out of town. The problem is that road doesn't go out of town to America. It goes out of town to Canada. So you actually need your passport to go down that road. The Yukon Route, or you can take the train out of town, but you need your passport to do that. The only way, I guess, legally in and out of town, because there is no roads that connect to the United States, the only way legally out of town is to take a cruise ship in and out of town, and either go to Tracy Arm the next day or go to Juneau the next day, depending on which way you're turned. I am probably stupidly right now walking on the tracks that would go to the port, but it looks like they don't really use these tracks anymore. But these are tracks of the White Pass and Yukon Railroad Company. And yeah, Doesn't look like they really use them anymore. But this is how they used to get stuff to the port. This is how they used to transport the gold. And that's what this is. It's a gold rush town. So you're going to see a lot of businesses, a lot of stuff based on gold. We're going to go to a little shop. This guy's got all kinds of weird stuff. Gold Rush Cafe, Gold Rush beer, everything like that. But the town is just starting to come into view. Take a look at this. It's so pretty. The town's starting to come into view. And it's really, once you get on the main street, it kind of feels like an Old West town. Because it is. They've restored and they've painted the fronts and stuff like that. But it's still just an Old West town. So it is about a half-mile walk from the boat to town. So it's where the Carnival docks. It's, I'm not going to lie, it's the crappier of the docks, but you're also paying the cheaper of the prices. So I've been walking for a good 10-12 minutes already. I'm not even at town yet, but we are almost at town, and I can see the train, which means you're in the right area. We made it. Let me be the first to welcome you to the Old West, the real Old West. Not the movies, not the Disney World, not the theme parks, but to Skagway, which is actually a part of the National Park Service. Yes, they have a National Park Service station, and they have park rangers that are right here. And this whole town is like a time capsule, and it's so well kept up. This is covered in feet of snow during the winter season, and during the summer season, it's just, I'm not gonna lie, I'm wearing shorts right now. No pants is true to his name. I'm literally wearing shorts right now. But they've got all these different statues and stuff like that. And there is the train. That is the White Pass and Yukon route. And here is the train station. So there's people waiting to take the train. That's how people would get into town. So guess what? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go into town the same way that the gold rushers would come into town. These are the tracks. This is the White Pass and Yukon Route Railway. And yes, the train station's been turned into a bit of a souvenir shop, but would you really expect any less from a tourist attraction? We're using the crosswalks here. But this is the old train station for the White Pass and Yukon route. And everybody's here at the coffee bar because I don't think they're here at the coffee bar because I don't think there's a Starbucks in town, so they're gonna go here instead of Starbucks because there is no Starbucks. But you'll see the train station, and right out in the other train station is an Old West town. These buildings are mostly original, hundreds of years old. One of the most famous ones here is actually coming right up here. It's the Onion Saloon. This was the original brothel and whorehouse of this area, believe it or not. And they still give tours. We might do a tour later on today. It says Happy Mother's Day. We may do a tour later on and see the oldest brothel that's really still around. And this is actually a National Park Ranger's office. So you see firearms prohibited, and you can learn about the past. We're going to talk about Soapy Smith in a little bit, and we're going to see when they've got the tours of Soapy Smith's original house. But let's see what we get up to in Skagway. Now, the ranger station is actually an important place to go. We walked by here, walked in here. You got to get yourself a ticket to go see Soapy Smith or Jeff Smith's house. Now, we're going to go learn the story of Soapy or Jeff Smith at 2:30. We're going to go see a show, but you want to pick up your ticket before they go away because his actual parlor, the museum, is maintained by the National Park Service. So if you want to see it, You gotta get a ticket. Only a certain number of people come in at a time. The good news is, we got a ticket. They're free. I was kidding. I didn't need a ticket before, but she's like, you need a ticket. And I'm like, how much are the tickets? And she's like, they're free, but you just need them for crowd control. So something free to do. Free, like totally free to do in Skagway. But, I mean, look at this street. I got my ticket. We've got the red Onion Saloon, which is where the ladies of negotiable affairs came from. It's also now a restaurant, but upstairs there is a historic brothel museum and $10 brothel tours. And just look at this street. We can stand out in the middle of the street. The good news is I think we're one of the last boats to leave today, because we're always like the failures of the pack. But if you look at the street, you can look at some of this just set of these old buildings, and you'll see massive cruise ships and massive mountains everywhere you look. Yeah, you're just walking in the middle of this street, and it's incredible. Like I said, the only place I find better than this is actually Tallinn, Estonia, because I love the Old West, and I also love the medieval times. And they're very similar, but I think Tallinn does a much better job kind of preserving. But these facades, gold panning and gifts, Alaskan fairy tales. We're going to get off the main strip in a few minutes. But you know what we need right now? Guys, we're going to have some fry bread. It's a not miss over here in Skagway. So let's go get some Alaskan fry bread. We'll talk about what it really is in a second. Well, I got some bad news. I saw the fry bread. I got real excited. They're closed on Sundays. Today's Sunday. It's very sad. But what's fry bread? It's kind of like an Alaskan version of an elephant ear. So they got fry bread, they've got shaved ice, but yeah, they call them elephant ears. So not just an Alaskan version of an elephant ear. It's the Klondike Doughboy. And unfortunately, it's closed today because I guess they don't like money. So we're gonna have to find ourselves another snack to eat here in Skagway. That was one of my favorites, and I'm back again on a Sunday next time. But right off the main street, if you do happen to be here any day other than Sunday, you can go to the Klondike Doughboy. Now there is actually a brewery around here that we'll make it to a bit later today, but I got food on the mind. So I think there's a barbecue place here. The barbecue place did survive COVID, was open last year. So did survive COVID, was open last year. I assume it's open this year unless we have the same problem as we did in the Doughboy place, and it's not open on Sunday. So here's crossing my fingers because one guy who runs the barbecue place. I know the guy a long time. When I used to be a crew member, I'd come out for barbecue every single week because this was the best place to get barbecue in Alaska. So I'm hoping it's still open, but I mean, a Tanzanite International inside of this, it's not a facade. It's not even, I mean, these are like original buildings. I can't really even call them facades because there's actual buildings inside of them. You've got the Pantheon of the National Gold Rush Historic Park, and you've got Del Sol color change jewelry because that fits in well here, I guess. Let's see what else we can find, and hopefully open on Sunday. So I just came across one of my favorite hidden gems in all of Alaska. You come to this place where it says Creative Goldsmith of Alaska. You'll see this is the main road. You'll see Creative Goldsmith of Alaska. Right before Creative Goldsmith of Alaska, take a left. And there's this place, the Back Alley Rock Shop. It's so unique, it's so eclectic. Some people would call what was here? Junk. Others would call it eclectic and unique. So, and this place, you kind of have to go into this place. The back alley rock shop here, you see, they even have this is how America works with COVID levels. Whoop, whoop, keep it low. The back alley rock shop. You have to come visit this place when you come to Skagway. It's got some just beautiful pieces in it. I got some really cool stuff here. Let's see if I can find what I got here last time I was here. But let's see. Do they have what I got when I was last here? It was a sterling silver money clip, which nobody uses real money anymore. But it was they got a fish fossil table. Should you want a fish fossil table? Alaskan artifact, walrus tooth fishing weight. I've got all these other things like that. And like I said, it's like an insanely eclectic collection. You got shark teeth, ammonite, flying spaghetti monster, or Cthulhu there. It's a fossilized crab. There's just so many cool things, way more than I can actually show on video here. But so many cool and unique things back in this little shop. And there's some even cooler stuff, weirder stuff outside, which is just like we were just in Egypt. This is an obelisk. Nice big old obelisk right here. There's all these different minerals and stuff. Look, it's dinosaur eggs. Just a lot of different things like that. And what's cool is you can even, oh look, there's a Alaska wishing well. But if you wanted to go gold panning in Alaska, this right here's the cheapest place to do it. It's like $5 or $10, not hundreds of dollars like at the cruise ship or anywhere else you might book. And it's right off the beaten path. It's one of those kind of really cool things. And you can even see they have a dinosaur, which is made of metal, all these different rocks and cool stuff. Highly, highly recommend. It's eclectic, it's unique. You'll spend 10 or 20 minutes here at the back alley rock shop, right off the main street in Skagway. So now we're at another institution in Skagway, but my mother always said you can't have dessert before you have dinner. So this is Cone Company, ice cream, candy, and fudge. They are celebrating 41 years here in Skagway, but they're actually open tonight until at least 6 o'clock. A lot of these cruise ships are going to disappear by then. People are going to go back for dinner. There's a huge line in there now. If you don't want to wait, just come back at 5:30. That's what I'm going to do. Just going to come back at 5:30, walk in and get my ice cream, not wait in a 20-minute line. Now, hopefully, not too many people watch this video, so they don't know my secret, but then there won't be lines throughout the rest of the day, and I just reverse psychology you. Just messing with you. But this street goes on for a little bit, but Cone Company, we're going back to later. We're getting some ice cream, because I do love ice cream, and we're coming up on the location for the show that we're going to go check out later. It's called the Days of 98 show, which is the longest running show in the world, but no one really wants to recognize it as the longest running show in the world. They generally have shows most days at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 2:30 p.m., and it's about $30 for a ticket. It's worth seeing. It's so unique and everything like that. I'm not going to try and take video of it, but I'm going to see if there are any clips of it online that I can insert in the video and show you. There's actually a 12:30 show going on right now as we speak, so I'm going to try and go in and get tickets for the 2:30 show, just so we have them ready for later. Yep. This is the Historic Museum, the Days of 98 show. It's actually really funny because during the show, they actually come out of this door to the street, and you can hear it going on there. Yeah, one of the longest running shows in the world, right on there, but nobody nobody really wants to recognize it as one of the longest running shows in the world. So I'm going to go inside and get a ticket for the 2:30 show. So we got our ticket for the 2:30 Days of 98 show. You see it right there, probably in reverse. But right across the street, literally, that's the Days of 98 show, is where the barbecue is. I'm hoping the barbecue's open. It's inside this place that some may say it's a little strange, but I call it bizarre. So we got our Days of 98 show ticket, which is one of the longest running shows in the world, but they won't call it the longest running because it only runs for certain seasons of the year, even though it's been running for 100 years, the 100th anniversary. And it looks like the barbecue shack is closed as well. But you should definitely come out to the barbecue shack if you're not here on a Sunday. Let's see, wait, hold on. Barbecue shack is not open for 2023. Hey guys, I'm not gonna lie. I don't come out here wanting to disappoint you. I don't come out here wanting to disappoint myself. But maybe the barbecue shack guy's dead. He made some good barbecue. I mean, I lost my chili place. I think it's still closed. I lost it. This place might be losing its mantle as my second favorite town. You're kind of watching a disappointing down day, and I really hope I can make this day better. But there's been a lot of disappointments so far here in Skagway. Hopefully I'll still get some ice cream later. So there's this one piece of modern company that I think actually makes perfect sense here, just due to their branding. It's actually my bank. Wells Fargo's here, the Stagecoach company, and I mean, they were an Old West bank, and they're inside the Bank of Alaska, the old Bank of Alaska building. I mean, it's modern, it's mixed into the old Bank of Alaska. You know, I'm not even angry, but I mean, I am angry, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, over half the stuff in this town didn't survive COVID, and no one's built it back. So there's a lot of just empty storefronts here, and it's kind of sort of depressing. I mean, even you've got the post office in Skagway, again, it's a Sunday. It literally might be the fact that we have decided to stop here on a Sunday. But yeah, you got the post office. And what else? Trying to show you everything that's open because there ain't much. Gonna have to go find a place to have lunch, and I love to go out in Alaska and have lunch, but I've tried 2 different places already and they're gone. Plus their mailbox in front of their post office doesn't even seem to accept mail anymore, which is like WTF. But I mean, so far the only thing we got is our Days of 98 show that's still happening, and I guess after the Days of 98 show, we'll talk about the Days of 98 show and go to where it actually happened, which is still being operated by the National Park Service. And I see something here that says margaritas. I don't seem very Alaskan in nature, but there's a margarita recipe on the wall, and it's cash only location. Oh, that's a liquor store. So we might just have to go get a margarita somewhere, because that looks what's left in this town. I'm hoping that's not true. Ooh, I see something new. Maybe it's in business. There's an old place that used to make chili at the end of the road, and now it's got a different sign on it. Maybe, we'll see. Well, one thing that is still open here, if you are a fan of motorcycles, is the Harley Davidson store in Skagway. So that is still open. I'm not sure. Yeah, they do have some very unique stuff to this area. Chilhook Pass Harley Davidson. These are actually unique to Skagway Harley Davidson branded merchandise and unique to Alaska Harley-Davidson branded merchandise. So this has been here forever, and I'm so glad that something in this town has actually survived, because last year, not gonna lie, it's kind of rough here. I mean, you almost need, I hate to say it out loud, you need someone like Disney to come and save this town. Because I think the cruise ships are going to have to stop coming here sooner rather than later, because it seems like all that's left here is the train. I don't like this. This was my second favorite town. What the hell does this even mean? If the red light is on, please contact one of these people. There is a red light. I don't know if that means this is the red light district and the prostitutes are there, or what's going on, but this place used to be the chili place, and it used to have really good chili, and now, like the rest of this town, it seems to have deteriorated into nothing. Kind of sad, actually really sad, because this used to be a great little town, but I think the C word, COVID, finally killed it. And it didn't kill it the first year that it was back open, because there was a lot more going on last year. And I'm not just talking about things that are just closed for the day on Sunday. I'm literally talking about a large variety. Yes, there are people dressed as prostitutes walking around and trying to give tours here. So I'm going to show people how to cross the street. And a really old church over there. I know there's a brewery here. I'm really not sure where we're going to go here, and that never used to be a problem here. So I'm hoping that the brewery is still going to be open and have some food. The rest of this town, not looking too hot here, gotta tell you, to be honest. It's just sad, literally everything here. This place I used to go all the time, Bites on Broadway, closed and replaced with a Skagway drag show. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to lose half my audience, but intrinsically, I know we're all saying something right now. Maybe the town went woke. You know what happens when you go woke? No, we're not going to go there, but it's a beautiful storybook, really pretty town, but in the end of the day, like 3/4 of these shops are out of business. And the ones that are in business are just selling crappy China-made souvenirs. Nothing local, nothing unique. I might say this one, just ride the damn train one day. If you're coming here for 2 days, because everything else I'm going to tell you, you gotta visit twice. But it may come down to ride the train one day, do that whole day train thing that I'm doing next week, and then the next day that you're here, you should probably go, this is the place where you can go dog sledding. Now, not on the glacier, they go dog sledding on dirt, but this is the place where you can actually go dog sledding on dirt. But I'm seriously, truthfully, looking for some place to eat outside, and this place is like a food desert. I might have to leave the main street. I know some pizza places and stuff like that on the side, but it's rough. I found one place I've known for a while that's pretty good, that's still open. It's called Bonanza's Bar and Grill. I'm gonna hopefully get a seat at the bar and get some beer, get some local food, and hope it doesn't take too long. Wish me luck. I am very happy that Bonanza Bar and Grill is still around, open, and not Mormon. I figured out that most people who live around here are Mormon. That's why everything that's still around is actually closed on Sunday. I had a very non-traditional Alaskan lunch, other than the beer. I had some queso and cheese. Queso and cheese is the same damn thing. Queso and chips, and I had some Nashville hot chicken sandwich, but I did have 3 Alaskan beers. And we're going to go buy a brewery that's in this town a little bit later today. But I saw something in this little book that I really want, and I didn't know you could get, and I'm hoping they have it. It's actually a railroad spike from the original railroads that have been changed into bottle openers. So I kind of want one of those. Told me the store to get it at, and I want to go check that out before the 2:30 show. It's 1:59 right now. We've got our show at 2:30. You do want to get to the show a little bit early because there's like an acoustic, well, historically, there's like an acoustic music set before. So I'd like to get there around 2:15 because, or 15 minutes before, because they tell the story. It's kind of like a prologue of sorts. They tell the story before you know the story, and we're going to hear the story 3 times today. We're going to hear it acoustically, we're going to see it in the actual show, and then we're going to go, I'm going to use a Hamilton reference because I think it's fitting. We're going to go to the room where it happened, and Soapy Smith's actual parlor, and we're going to go, which was actually owned by the National Park Service. So we're going to check out the room where it happened, Soapy Smith's Saloon, after we see the Days of 98 show 100th year anniversary. So on our way to get a spike bottle opener, I passed another brewery. Now, this brewery I knew was in town. This is, thank God it's still open. I know I don't believe in God, but that's a story for another day. I believe in a giant flying spaghetti monster. But this brewery actually makes a very local beer made with the local spruce tips. This is the Klondike Brewing Company. They did have this beer in the Bonanza Bar and Grill, but I figure, why not go to the place the beer is actually made? So I'm going to have, just because I fear places may close later as ships leave, I'm going to go have a spruce tip beer real quick over at the Klondike Brewing Company. Oh, here we go. Yeah, pretty cool looking. Actually, really cool looking. And yeah, they redid this place. Yeah, they really redid this place this year, but still looks pretty good. So the Klondike Brewing Company has the same stupid brewery laws that they had yesterday in Juneau. They can only serve you 32 ounces a day, but I did get 4 taster beers that I'm going to shotgun before the show. We know how that went yesterday. If you followed along in Juneau, we've got the let me see, got the American Lager, which is the Woody's Southeast Lager. We've got the Whipsaw Spruce Ale. We've got the Chet's Pilsner, and we've got, I don't even know why you'd make an amber in Alaska to compete with Alaskan amber, but you've got their amber, which is actually, it's called chichaco, which is a word that's used a lot in the Days of 98 show. Yeah. It's not Alaskan amber. It's not like, if you have the ability to get Alaskan amber and you get another amber, you're a moron. I did this for you. This. It's not Alaskan amber. Let me just make that clear. I'll finish it. It's not bad. It's not Alaskan amber. Next one we've got is a Czech lager. This is the Sluice Head Pilsner. Now, I think Sluice Head is what you get when you've taken all the gold out of a gold panning operation. So, Sluice Head Czech Pilsner. It's a lot better than the amber. I already know the one that's going to be the best because I've had it before, but I've not had 3 of these. I've had one of them before. Not this season, and it actually does change season to season because it's made with the local spruce tips. So, the Czech one's good. Then we've got a just a American lager. Southeast Lager. That's a good one. I'm gonna finish this one. Unfortunately, there's only one brewery in town, so the odds of face planting today, like in Juneau yesterday, are minimal. For Juneau yesterday, got a bit of swelling from my face planting, but this one, if you're coming and you want one beer, you get the spruce tip beer. It's made with local spruce tip, so it smells it smells like a Christmas tree, because most people get spruce trees as their Christmas tree, or a Douglas fir, but they smell similar. And I mean, this is like the beer, like the Bears. It's a Chicago thing. It's a weird smelling beer, but be honest with you, that beer, you can have it at Bonanza. You can have as much as you want at Bonanza, or you come over here, you have 32 ounces of the spruce tip beer. So far, the spruce tip beer and the Days of 98 show, which I gotta get going to because it's 2:15 right now. So the spruce tip beer and the Days of 98 show are the highlights of the day today. But we got a little more going on. Let's finish that spruce tip beer. God, with like 30-something ounces of beer in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And now, 4 empty beer glasses on our way going to the Days of 98 show. I think our Spike bottle opener is going to have to wait a few more minutes, but we'll see. See you at the Days of 98 show. In sad news, I just went to the train shop and they don't have any bottle openers. It's in the program. It's a week and a half in. They don't have any of those train Spike bottle openers. The one souvenir I didn't have that I wanted, they don't have a week and a half into the season. Not being a Karen. They said, they'll have it on their website and stuff like that eventually. But let's just take a walk down the middle of the street in Skagway, just so you can kind of take in. If you've never been here before, a lot of stuff is closed. COVID has truly killed this place. And so has, flip side, so has the train tours that the cruise lines tell everyone they have to take. So there's not as much money coming into this little town that could as there used to be. But you'll see even the shops themselves promote the trains, because they have to. The train is the shops. The shops are the train. But a lot of my favorite haunts here have gone ahead and disappeared, which is kind of sad. The few that have disappeared, that something else has popped back up, it's been like a jewelry store or a Del Sol or something like that. I'm walking back by Bonanza now, which has been here forever. This is really Bonanza. That's where we went for lunch. That's where the locals go. By the locals, I mean the summer locals, the people that come in for work in the summer. But the choices are getting fewer and farther between of what to do out here in Skagway. And every other port, there's always something to see that's not the ship's shore excursion. I'm kind of, I hate to say, grasping at straws, but, grasping at straws, it's still beautiful. I mean, look, it's like you're in the Caribbean. You've got your aloha. I don't need to do this here, but I will tell you, me and my friend who's coming next week, we're both perfectly straight. Well, I'm perfectly straight. I don't know about him. But me and my friend, they're coming next week. It was so hot in Mexico. We together went into a Aloha store. and tried out their new bed for 20 minutes. Why? Because it was like 110 degrees outside in Mexico. Well, it felt like 110 degrees outside in Mexico with the humidity and all that. But it was hot out there. So we tried out a bed for a while, just to cool off because it was nice and air conditioned in that little store. But we're passing by again, you'll see the ice cream company. Line's going out the door. I think later, well, I know later, I've seen this, later as everybody's going back to the cruise ship for dinner, you're not going to have nearly as big of an ice cream line, and you can get, just as it says in their window, you can get your sweet souvenir. But we are passing, we're getting to the Days of 98 show. Now, this is something that I was talking to the employees here earlier, some of the cruise lines still sell the bundle with something else, but you can go buy the ticket for like $29 right in the front of the store, right in the front of the show. Don't shotgun beers like I did. You can go buy the ticket yourself right in the front of the show, and you can go see the Days of 98 show, which is I'm gonna give it the longest running show in the world. I really do think it is. And one of the fun things, if they're doing it, is they have the stars of the show like hawking people to come. They are doing it. They have the people that are in the show hawking people to come inside. Love it. It's one of those things that's just so classically unique. I'll show you. It's just kind of.
It's almost showtime, folks. 5 minutes till showtime. All right, folks, we need to head in and get ready for the show, but you still got 5 minutes till the show starts. Just enough time to get a ticket. We'll see you inside.
So we made it to the theater just as the show was they're getting ready for the show. This is the stage door, and the show it's really kind of an interesting treasure. The only thing that's kind of sad, someone does die in it, not going to spoil you, and there used to be a gunshot in it, and they would actually fire off a blank, and the blank started to fire backstage, so now they don't fire a gun anymore. But we are headed to the Days of 98 show. The story of actually Skagway and Skagway's biggest outlaw, Soapy Smith. Maybe, if it gets a little boring, we might go visit his grave a bit later today. But this is the Days of 98 show in Skagway. I'll see if I can find some clips online and put them in right here.
Country. The one question, the supreme question before us today, friends, is vital to the welfare of the Republic. Friends, the all-important question which I propound to you, and for which I earnestly seek the answer, is this: how are you fixed for soap? I hear no response. I fear I embarrass you. In all honesty, sir, it looks as though you could use a little soap. And your silence, it distresses me. But seriously, though my message is that of soap, it is also a message of hope. And for today, to meet that great need, which is so apparent in you, sir, I have a new soap. I have a wonder soap. Here is the finest cleansing agent ever brought forth by man's scientific ingenuity, the fruit of many weary months of research and experiment in my own laboratory. Use this soap upon your skin and it will glow like the moon. Your face will shine with the radiance of 1,000 candles. Is that bald spot growing, sir? Use my soap, and the patriarchal locks once more will adorn your brow. Your hair turning gray, use my soap, and to those silver threads will return the pristine glory of youth. Does your conscience keep you tossing and sleepless in the silent watches of the night? Use my soap and wash your sins away! Say hallelujah!
Hallelujah!
Now, this glorious opportunity to purify body and soul should be enough. But for today, I'm offering you far more than that. On this day, of all days, as an introduction only, I am giving, that's right, friends, giving enormous cash prizes to those upon whose shoulders the goddess of luck has chosen to perch. Now, cleanliness is next to godliness, but the feel of a good, crisp greenback in one's pocket is paradise itself. Now, I'm going to sell you these bars of soap today for 25 cents each. If you wish to purchase my soap alone, and there being any such among you, I will accept your order, and you will find it the best tube investment you ever made. But if you've got some sporting blood and you want to win one of these little green pieces of paper with the big numbers on them ranging up to $100, I'll sell you a bar from these I've already wrapped for the ridiculous price of $5 and the privilege of choosing your own package. Now, if you've been watching me as closely as I hope you have, you should find it very simple to choose a package wrapped in real money. And the first person up here has the best chance of winning. So who's going to be first? Who's going to take a chance on winning $100, $50, or even such small change as a $20 bill, all for $5? Think of it. Friends, you land that $100 bill and you make a 2,000% profit on your investment. What? No answer from the great unwashed? You amaze me. I am astounded. But understand, you want proof. Proof that I am willing to give you something for nothing, all in order to prove the miraculous qualities of my soap. Very well. So be it. The customer is always right, and I aim to please. So listen carefully. If there's anyone sitting right here, right now, that can show me a $10 bill, I will give you a 10 back. Free. For nothing. I'm absolutely serious. If anybody can show me just a $10 bill, I will give you a 10 as a present. It can be a 5. It can be a 1. It can be anything. Not everybody all at once now. Sheesh. Oh, starting line. Who's going to get it first? Who's going to get it first? Oh, there we are. 20, right? All right. There's your 20, and here's my 10. Take your time. Take it. You win. I lose. I ask for no sympathy. I always pay my debts, and I keep my word. I said a 10 for a peek at a 20. And I gave it to you, didn't I? I certainly did. Now remember, friends, the first person up here has the best chance of winning that $100 bill. Now, who's going to be first?
Boom-de-ay, ta-ra-ra, boom-de-ay, ta-ra-ra, boom-de-ay. I'm not extravagantly shy, but when a nice young man is nigh, for his heart I'll have a try, and faint away with tearful cry. I'm not good, young man in haste, will support me round the waist, and I'll come to while thus embrace, to love my lips, see scales and taste. Ta-ra-ra, boom-de-ay, 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 So love and I got away. Alice.
Emerald Tooth Alice.
My father's eyes are cloudy and gray. They cannot go away. What do you say? Each step leads you closer to a paradise made just for you. So douse the light and say goodnight.
And while you're at it, say your prayers. It's Emerald Tooth Alice. Going up the upstairs.
Yes, you and me. Yes, we, sir. Upstairs. You know what, Oopsie? I don't want to tire you out with a bunch of stairs. I want you to be able to keep up with me. Stand up. Follow me. I'm going to show you something over here instead.
Come on.
Yeah, why don't you follow me? Oh, right here. Okay, there's a big step here. So where you step? You got it.
Well, let's give them some privacy. Hey, Teddy, can you come over here and give me a hand with something real quick? Now, who wants to get the Kenya with Poopsie? Raise your hand, honey. Don't be shy. Who's claiming it? There we are. How about a round of applause for this brave and forgiving soul? Thank you for your service.
Well, looted dreamers I've seen pass through this town in the past few months. Thousands of men and women just like Alice storming their way through Skagway with the idea of getting rich quick. The weak in body, the weak in spirit, and naturally, the stupid ones, well, they die before they ever reach the gold fields. They freeze, they starve, or they get themselves shot. Frankly, the greatest kindness I can give such people is to force them to get out of Skagway and on the first ship heading south. And there are those in this town that say that I am just a crook. Frank Reed and his boys. They're down at Sylvester Hall right now trying to stir up enough support to take this town away from me. It's all got Bell pretty upset. Frank Reed and his committee of 101. You know, there's one thing everybody has in common here in Skagway. Greed. Greed's what brought him here. Greed's what keeps him here. And greed eventually sends him home broke. Fortunately, there are any number of services that I and my associates provide, whereby man may be hastily relieved of the terrible burden of all his loot, like reliable packers, where a man can have his gear reliably packed up and over the white pass spread, and then can reliably count on its disappearance. But mostly there's drinking and gambling, poker, blackjack, faro, roulette, Monte, craps, the list goes on, even the shell game. 3 unassuming walnut shells and 1 innocent pea. The oldest flim-flam in the world, and the suckers fall for it every time. But when a man has lost most of his money, someone will suggest that he go over to Dominion Telegraph and wire home for some more. The Dominion Telegraph Company, Skagway's altar of hope, where a man can send a message anywhere in the world for only $5. And if that gentleman sticks around long enough, he will receive an answer to his message for another $5. If they learn something in Skagway, if they learn that you can't trust anyone or anything, then maybe they become suspicious of that telegraph company. Suspicious enough to follow that grand and glorious cable out the back of the office, down and over the bank, and into the Lynn Canal where it ends, just past the dock. But when a man has really lost everything, and the money he's sent home for doesn't arrive, inevitably, someone else will say, now son, you going over to 317 Holly Street, to Jeff Smith's Parlor. To Jeff Smith's Parlor. And you ask for Jefferson Smith himself. You tell him what happened to you. And you tell him that you want to go home. And personally, I guarantee he'll help you out. And it so happens that when that gentleman shows up here, I take a portion of his lost and squandered money out of my own safe, and I give it back to him in the form of a ticket south. Now he's learned a very valuable lesson because he'll probably never gamble again. And he'll have me to thank for that because I'll have saved him a lot of money. But more importantly, When he gets on that ship and he leaves Skagway heading south, he leaves our town with two things. He leaves Skagway with his life for heaven's sake. He leaves Skagway with a soft spot in his heart for Jefferson Smith.
How do you like this, boys? They may or may not mean offense, but I don't care. Oh, here's a new move I've been working on. You see, I'm sort of independent. I'm my own superintendent. My stars on the ascendant. That's why I don't care. Any takers? Anyone? No? Oh, well. 2, 3, 4. I don't care. I don't care what they think of me. I'm happy, go lucky, and see that I'm funny, so jolly and carefree. Ugh, I don't care. I don't care if I do get the mean and stony stare. It's your last chance, boys. If I'm never successful, it won't be distressful, 'cause I don't care.
Laughed down a bill and paid him for a drink. And John Fay, the bartender and bar owner, told him he could drink his change. Now, this is a common enough practice here in Skagway with the stampeders, but it's generally not used on the townspeople because it's bad for business. Well, McGrath demanded his change back, and Fay wouldn't give it to him. McGrath got angry and threatened to go out into the street and find the marshal. Fay told him that if he did, that he would shoot both of them when they came back through the door. Then Fay came round from behind the bar, picked McGrath up by the scruff of the neck, and threw him out of the saloon. Well, McGrath really got angry then, and did just what he said he would. He went and found Deputy Marshal Rowan. The two men talked about it for a minute, and Rowan decided that McGrath deserved his change. Then, the two men came running back over to the saloon, and as they came busting through those swinging doors, that slimy weasel of a bartender shot both of them. He shot them. Well, in no time, a lynch mob had been formed and started combing the streets for Fay. McGrath was dead, and Rowan. Poor Rowan lay up in Doc Moore's office, mortally wounded, next to his wife, who had just given birth to Skagway's very first child. When that man died, when that new young father died, the thirst for blood in that mob hit a peak. They wanted to hang John Fay right then and there and ask what happened second. Mob rule. Well, there's not going to be any mob rule in Skagway, not while I'm around. I can still see that mob of blood-sucking leeches standing outside of Clancy's saloon right now, howling for blood. And because I had John Fay in my protective custody, they wanted me almost as bad. They brought 2 nooses. So I had to move fast, just to save my own neck. So I grabbed my hat off my head, I shoved it under Fay's face, and I said, "Listen, you fat slime, you put every penny you've got in this hat right now or you're a dead man." Then, hand in hand, I stepped out into the boardwalk, and I faced that mob alone. I've got 50 armed men inside here ready to pick off the first one of you murderers that makes a move for that door. If you think that another killing is going to solve the problems that that widow and child are going to have in the next few months, you're wrong. While you idiots have been out here collecting nooses, the decent people of Skagway have been inside here collecting money for the widow and her baby. You. Yeah, you. You've been the loudest mouth one of this whole bunch. Why don't you do something meaningful for the widow and her fatherless child and put some money in the hat? Even a dime will do. You still got that dime? Oh, spotlight's on you. What are you gonna do? Oh, thank you. Your kindness and generosity will be appreciated by that child, I'm sure. I passed my hat all around that lynch mob, and the thirst for blood went right out of them. They got very generous, as a matter of fact, just like moneybags here. I collected over $400 for Rowan's widow right then and there. John Fay managed to escape certain death, and even I came out ahead. The newspapers said that I was an outspoken enemy of mob rule and a friend to destitute widows. Order. Now that's the kind of thing I do for Skagway.
With the girls be handy, and Independence Day we saw Jeff leading the parade. His dream of building town was his grand marshal was made. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy. Line the music and the step right with the girls be handy. Hey Cuddle Bear, you can be handy with me anytime.
What's going on in here?
Iris, the Wicked Nutty Canyon, and we ate berry.
What is this?
It's the can.
What? Who told Teddy to play the can? We can't can. Yes, we can. Can you dance the can?
Come with me, I can.
Can will do what you can. You should do what you dance the can.
Join us for the can.
It's Skagway, not Spokane. Man with one who knows why you can catch up there. Oh, come on, Alice. Just like we practiced. Knee, kick, go. Knee, kick. Now let the skirt do all the work. Hey, woo, hey.
Oh, watch this!
My turn.
Wait a minute! You were right. It's so easy. I love this! Hang on a second.
Alice, what are you doing?
You guys should try this.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh.
If I can do this, anybody can do this. I know everybody. This is how the dance is gonna go. You're gonna start by putting your hands on each other's shoulders, just like that. Okay, you got it down there? Fabulous. All right, now the dance goes like this. We're gonna start with the right knee first. Knee, touch, kick. Now switch to the left. Knee, touch, kick. Now add a bounce. Knee, touch, kick. Knee, touch, kick. Come on now. Knee, touch, kick. One more. Knee, touch,
their whining, their sniveling, and their damn secret meetings, and I'm gonna put a stop to their mob rule. Frank Reed thinks he can take this town away from me. Not while I live.
Jefferson Randolph! Yeah!
Oh.
Alaska's flag may it mean to you. The blue of the sea, the evening sky, the mountain lakes and the flowers nearby. The gold of the early sourdough streams, the precious gold of the hills and streams, the brilliant stars in the northern sky, the bear, the dipper, and shining high, the great North Star with its steady light, o'er land and sea, a beacon bright. Alaska's flag to Alaskans dear, the symbol flag of the last frontier.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You have just witnessed the 24th show of the 100th season of the Days of 98 show here in Eagles Hall. And in all that time, we've learned a few things. Mostly, we've learned what it's like to con people and take their money.
I've also learned this. When you take a person's money, when it's all said and done, that's all you've got. And that's all you'll ever have. But when you take a person's time, you shared a part of your life with them. So we'd like to thank each and every one of you for sharing a part of your lives with us here today.
Thank you, and enjoy your time in Skagway.
You know, the really cool and unwelcome surprise of the day is that they let you film there now and take photos and stuff. So you've probably just seen about 12 minutes or so of the show that I taped. Definitely go see the whole thing. Is it a super high quality production show? No, but is it historical? That's what you're going for. It's been going on for 100 years, you know, minus the 2 of COVID. They have a new cast like every single year. And you know, the thumbnail of this video is me with the cast because the cast is so diverse. The cast really makes that show. It's literally the door they open onto the street is literally on the street in Skagway. I mean, other than the train, if there were a way for you to take a tour that wouldn't give you, I'm going to do the whole train. The next week I'm here like the whole train track, all 20 something miles of it. But if there's a way to, you know, do a half-day train, do that show, go to the brewery. If you're just here for a day, that is the way to do it. But here's the thing. You heard the beginning of that song, the beginning of the show. You heard about Soapy Smith, and you saw the whole thing about Jeff Smith's Parlor and everything. Jeff Smith's Parlor is real, and it's preserved by the National Park Service. And in 45 minutes, we're going to Jeff Smith's Parlor together. So 45 minutes from now, we're going to go to Jeff Smith's Parlor. And the question is, what kind of trouble are we going to find ourselves in the next 45 minutes before we go there? I want to see what I can find. I'm going to get off this main street, go to some side streets, go to some old haunts I used to know as a crew member. Again, I don't know if they're open anymore, but let's explore. Let's see what's going on. Then we're going to go to the actual place where that show was set, which is Jeff Smith's original Parlor, which is a national historic landmark. So if you think that's a whole bunch of BS, it's not. Jeff Soapy Smith is the guy who ran Skagway, ran the mob in Skagway, and it's all still here today, thanks to the U.S. National Park Service, and it's free. Just remember, you got to get that ticket early in the day because they don't have that ticket later. They have it later in the day if you get it early in the day. And let's do a little bit of an ice cream watch while we're here. The line, for some reason, keeps getting bigger at the ice cream place. Yes, I am the captain now. Yeah, the line for the ice cream place keeps getting bigger. So I think we're going to go after Jeff Smith's Parlor. But let's see if we can find something else to do in the meantime, because we got 45 minutes to kill, and the last thing I want to do is go jewelry shopping. And all that looks to be in this town right now, you guessed it, is jewelry shopping. Hey, look, everything in this town is Alaska themed. About a block and a half off the main street, there's a slightly less touristy place called The Station. It says like a local bar. This is where the kind of the people that work here for the summer go, not where the day tourists go. Yeah, it's still a tourist spot because the people that work here for the summer are essentially tourists, but it's inside of a train car of sorts. Sorry. Very narrow entrance to the station. Gonna have a beer or two here and get ready to see Jeff Smith's Parlor. The station. So I'm in the station now, well, where we just walked into the station, and I did get an Alaskan Amber. Why? Because I wanted to kind of reset my palate here. So I got an Alaskan Amber, and they said their clam chowder was really good, so I got me some clam chowder. I've not actually tried the chowder yet. Let's see if it's actually any good. I think the worst clam chowder in Alaska is probably going to be better than the best in any other state. Very clammy, very potatoey. Got some bacon.
So, a Caesar's with enchilada instead of.
It is very, very good. Let's see, what do we got? We got half an hour. Maybe we can make one more stop before we go visit good old Soapy Smith, Jeff Smith's Tavern. The real one, not the stage one. Another funny institution here in Skagway is the Morningwood Hotel. That's a little, what was that, the station's inside the Morningwood Hotel. Take a look at the Morningwood Hotel. It was erected in 2006. You see what they did there? Erected in 2006. But while we're here, you know what? Let's, Saturday, Sunday, okay. This is actually kind of interesting, you know. If you are from anywhere else in the world other than Alaska, you've probably got Walmarts and Targets and Publixes and Kroger's and Piggly Wigglies and all that. Let's go ahead, just because it's right here, I want to go into an Alaskan grocery store. Just so you can kind of compare prices. We'll see if there's something, you know, you may know, but these are the Alaskan grocery stores. Even like a bag of chips is like 99 cents. Well, that's not a normal bag of chips. So, you know, 12 pack of soda, $10. I'm looking for something we compare. 18 stacks of Ritz crackers, $20. Yeah, so 12 pack of soda, $10. That seems to kind of be the going rate, unless you want Shasta Cola, which is only $6.50. You can save some money there. But yeah, all the 12 packs of soda are $10. Hershey syrup. They don't even have, oh, they have Hershey syrup. Hershey syrup is $5.60. A little bit of salad dressing, $6.59. Because what you got to realize is they have to bundle in a transportation cost here. So everything costs significantly more. Well, except for that $1.50 Costco hot dog the other day. I mean, even 1 pound and 3 ounces of Johnsonville brats right here. $9.49. We got a whole chicken, $19. Good God. It's just, it comes down, the whole thing comes to trend. Even ramen's not cheap. Look at that. Well, that's kind of cheap. 75 cents or $14.29 for a whole pack. 75 cents for individuals, you know. Ramen's not bad, but they can't grow any produce here, and this produce section is, as our former President Donald Trump would say, this produce section is sad. It's sad Joe Biden created this produce section. I mean, take a look. Ain't much produce in the produce section. A head of lettuce, $6. Jalapeno peppers, I assume that's, per pound. $9 a pound. And for some reason, can't say I've ever seen Costco stuff sold outside of Costco before legally. Kirkland basil pesto. These are in dollars, well, Alaskan dollars, but the same as American dollars. $24. That's my hand. That's the pesto. $24. I mean, I guess it's imported Italian basil, but I can't say I've ever seen Costco stuff sold legally somewhere else, which is kind of a strange misnomer. Just walking around. I mean, these shelves are pretty empty, but you know what? We gotta check for one thing. I think y'all know what we gotta check for. Where is the beer? Do they have beer here? Cold and cough. You know what we're checking for. We're doing it for the memes. Do they have beer? And is there a surplus of Bud Light if they have beer? Unfortunately, I don't think they have beer here. So, there can't really be a surplus of Bud Light if they don't have beer. Yeah. I don't see any beer here. Let's get over to Jefferson Smith, Soapy Smith's house, because we've got 6 minutes to get there for our little guided tour by a park ranger of Soapy Smith's house. Just got to figure out exactly what street it's on, but I hope you enjoyed that quick visit to an Alaskan grocery store. You know, we might find a liquor store or a weed shop, because yes, both of those things are things that are perfectly legal here. Well, liquor store, obviously, even though you might question it with the amount of Mormons here. But the weed shop I've been to before, and it's an interesting place. So let's go to Soapy Smith's original tavern and explore. So you may remember from a few minutes ago, a video time, Jeff Smith's Parlor. We saw the inside of it, but we never saw the outside of it. This is actually part of a National Historic Park, and this is actually Jeff Smith's Parlor right here, which is really cool. So they've preserved it and everything like that. This is, I don't believe the actual location it was, but this is the actual building, and this is exactly how Soapy Smith's Parlor was set up. So this is actually kind of a 3D scan of it. Actually, it looks like what's the name of the company? Matterport. It really looks like a Matterport scan. It looks like they did a Matterport scan, the national parks. But we're gonna see all that because we've got a ticket, again, free ticket, but pick it up early in the day because, like, I got out about noon, and I think this was the last tour. It was the 4:15 tour. That's where they already were at. So you'll see, this is Soapy Smith. It's almost like you just saw a play about this. You never know. See how this local doctors, is that real? Yeah, I think those are actually real photos. Yeah, the engine, the treasure. Yeah, and you can learn all about. But now it's time to go in to Soapy Smith's, or what's his name? Yeah, Soapy Smith, Jefferson Smith, but Soapy Smith's actual tavern right here in Old Skagway, maintained by the National Park Service. So yeah, this was not the original location. The original location, remember the Wells Fargo Bank earlier? That's where we went. I'm going to get into the air conditionings there.
Yes, this is also the only building in Skagway other than our artifact building that has air conditioning.
Because it has to for...
Yes.
Yeah, you keep it a constant temperature year round and not
Yes,
destroy anything.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so this is part of a museum that was added to kind of get tourism here. So these last two rooms are not original to the bank. Yeah, so Soapy Smith's Parlor, which we're going to make it to in about probably 2 or 3 minutes, is actually not originally a parlor. It was originally a bank, and it stood right where that Wells Fargo does now that we saw a bit earlier that we were talking about. But these are all like authentic to the time things. She said, don't touch them, not just because they're old, but because they were preserved with arsenic. So a little scary there. But these are some stuffed mooses, mices, right there. Big old wolf. I did not think wolves were that big. That thing will goddamn kill you. I mean, that's like 3/4 the size of a person. There's an actual authentic telephone, one of Skagway's first telephones. And you got a wheel. I don't know if the wheel works. It does work. So we've got like an old-fashioned slot machine, but this is the actual Soapy Smith's Parlor right here. So this was a bank, and became, scares me, became where that Soapy Smith was actually at. So you can see, here's the parlor right here. These are the actual, like what you saw on stage during that musical with Soapy Smith. This is like where it actually happened, per se, the room where it happened in Hamilton speak. This is all original artifacts, including this fake Soapy Smith doll, spittoon, and everything like that. And this was a drink mixing machine right here, but this is all, that's Soapy's gun, if you remember Soapy's gun from when he went out and shot. And this is all maintained now by the National Park Service, and it's free. It's free. You just have to get a ticket. You get yourself a ticket, and it is completely free to visit. Make sure you go ahead and get your ticket right next to the train station at the Park Service office before. But yeah, that's a Soapy Smith look-alike right there at Jeff Smith's original parlor. Right out there was the Jeff Smith's Parlor sign. Pretty cool here in Skagway. It's Skagway's first tourist attraction, Jeff Smith's Parlor. I think we're going to go over to the weed shop next. I don't know how they feel about cameras inside, but you know, on a lot of cruises, well, all cruises, you can't take weed on a cruise because when it moves to places, you know what that's called? It's called drug trafficking. But in Alaska, weed is perfectly legal. So we might check out some weed shops. We'll see. Because Alaska's first weed shop is 1 street away. So what's really cool is this guy right here was actually kind of an animatronic of sorts. And when this was originally a tourist attraction, you see he's got a mug in that hand. So if you use the front door, he would turn and raise his mug towards you with the pulley system. And then if you use the back door, he'd turn and raise his gun to you, which is pretty cool. And it was like, this predates Disney. The park ranger was saying, think more of like the P.T. Barnum side of things. And even the lady on the toilet that scared us earlier, she used to be tied to the door, and the door would be closed, and you'd open the door, and she would stand up. And then this guy was an animatronic as well, but nobody really knows. He raised his hand, but nobody really knew how he was activated. So it's really cool that there's all this history here, and that's Jeff Smith's bar, but that's actually an animatronic, which is really, really awesome. And it's one of those things that, you know, I'm happy that the U.S. is protecting it and protecting the interest and protecting the history of the city of Skagway. So on our way to the weed store, there's another mysterious red light, because if the red light is on, please contact Adrian Bricker or Mike Lichetti. So again, we're gonna go, I was just checking, we're gonna go on a brothel tour in about an hour, because, why the hell not go see a whorehouse and understand what went on at the whorehouse? But we're going to see a brothel tour in about 45 minutes or so. But weed became legal in Alaska pretty early. Even though Alaska is a conservative state, they're very liberal in a lot of their different values. So you've got the Remedy Shop, which was not the first opened weed store in Alaska, but the first licensed weed store in Alaska. And you'll see there's a giant marijuana flag. So, gotta pull out your ID, go through the process, and give a little visit to the Remedy Shop. Alaska's first licensed, but not first opened, cannabis dispensary. We're already so far down the rabbit hole here with brothels and murders and stuff in Skagway. I might as well show you just a small taste of the weed store. They got pipes, they got pre-rolls, and they've got what I like. I like hats. I like stuff that's not gonna get angry for YouTube. I bought a whole bunch of people weed socks last year because weed socks are the best socks. Or you can get some room key holders for your room key on the cruise ship. But I don't really want to show the stuff to the left because YouTube doesn't like the stuff to the left. But yes, you have to show your ID at the door, and you can actually buy edibles, weed, everything, no problem whatsoever here in the great state of Alaska, but you cannot use it in public. You have to use it in your home. So be aware of that, but anyone from any state, I'm from Florida, where they're never gonna make weed legal, can buy anything they want, right here now in Alaska. So I went by the weed shop. They have a very interesting selection of things. They even have cookie dough you could bake yourself, and literally every passenger that's on a Carnival cruise ship is in there right now. That's why I didn't want to show the room, trying to figure out how to sneak weed on board. You can't ask for more. They got cough lozenges. They got everything you could imagine under the sun to try and sneak weed on board a cruise ship. I can't slight them for trying. They know their demographic. They got cookies. They got candy. They got cough medicine. That's actually secretly THC. But, yeah, really nice selection there at the first licensed, not opened, they're very specific about that, weed store in the great state of Alaska. Let's go recharge this camera, because I've used this camera a lot more than I thought. We're going to recharge this camera real quick, and then I think we're going to go in about 25 minutes or so. We're going to go on a brothel tour. But you know what? We got to check something first. We've walked by this place like 4 times so far. And by this place, I mean the place has got ice cream. So I want to see. I think this time's a charm. It's time to get some ice cream, because by the time the brothel tour is finished, the ice cream place might be closed. So let's go get some ice cream, because I've wanted ice cream all day. I'll be back with you when I have my ice cream, and hopefully 2 hands to eat it with, because one hand has to hold the camera, one hand has to hold the ice cream. So hopefully 2 hands to eat it with. This town is very much quieted down with tourists because they're all heading back to their boat, which means the ice cream line's gonna be short as hell right now. Yes! Sad trombone. They had a line all day. This sign was not here earlier. I get to the ice cream place, closing at 4 p.m. Just as Alaska was starting to look up for me, I get to the ice cream place. I've had a gigantic 25, 30-minute line all day. And when they close at 4 p.m., they write closing at 4 p.m. You as my witness, you saw these signs were not here earlier. I'm not a happy no pants. I don't know if there's ever a happy no pants, but I'm not a happy no pants because I wanted ice cream. So, just gonna have to supplement my ice cream instead with beer, because why not? But we're gonna recharge the camera because it's flashing red at me and getting real angry, and then we're going on a brothel tour. Because why? Because I've never done the brothel tour before. So we always like to do something new that I haven't done before when we do these things. So we're gonna go on a tour of Le Brothel at the Red Onion Saloon, and you get to come along with me. I think after that, we'll probably start heading back to the boat, because this town is going to close real soon. If ice cream closed at 4, and ice cream was like the busiest thing in town, this town will close real soon, even though the boat doesn't leave till 7:30. This town is going to close real soon. But I mean, just take a look at that view. I don't know if you're seeing the same view I am with my eyes, but it's absolutely stunningly beautiful here in old Skagway. So I am here at the Red Onion Salon waiting for my brothel tour, and they make another red, the Red Onion Red. Ambers and reds. People think they can make it in Alaskan amber territory. Let's see if it's any good. It's a lot better than the last one we had earlier today. Actually pretty good. And I also got some chili, because Alaska's like the land of chowders and chilies. So you got to get, I mean, look at that. Look at that meatiness in the land of chowders and chilies. And I was just told by my server here, I asked, there's a peculiar thing on the wall over here. There is a bunch of bedpans. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, now you can definitely see them. They're not getting blown up by light over there. There's a bunch of bedpans, and this is the largest collection of bedpans in the world. And you might go, why are there bedpans on the wall? It's because the current owner of the saloon was told by everyone not to buy this saloon, and if she bought the saloon, she wouldn't have a pot to piss in. So she got the largest collection of piss pots in the world. Red Onion Saloon, chili's good, beer's acceptable, not as good as Alaskan Amber, but I wanted to try the Red Onion beer at the Red Onion Saloon, and we are going to go on a brothel tour in about 20 minutes time, but going to enjoy my beer and chili because it's 5:03 p.m. So the brothel is much like if you remember Squirrel Tooth Alice. We're going up, upstairs. So we are about 2 or 3 minutes from when the brothel tour starts, and you notice I still have a beer because they said yes, you can take a beer on the brothel tour. So I will be enjoying my beer on the brothel tour, bringing you along, and I might even show you the whole thing if I can. It's completely up to the negotiable ladies up the stairs that are coming down to collect us now for our brothel tour. She has a feeling we're here for a brothel tour. So we're going to head on upstairs soon.
And a May do you, and for the right price, I just might. Now I don't know about y'all, but I'm in the mood for a quickie. A quickie tour. Don't look so scared. Our services haven't changed since 1898. This quickie involves you coming upstairs with me, and I'm going to tell you all the secrets of the Brothel Museum. It's only $10 for 20 minutes, and that is a lot cheaper than my usual rate. Am I right, sir?
That's right.
Exactly. Now, if you are interested, please close out your tabs with your bartenders and servers. Treat them right down here so I can treat you right upstairs. And you'll not only go home with some newfound knowledge, you'll also go home with your very own souvenir So, if that piques your interest, follow me upstairs. We'll have a great time together. See you up there.
So we are up in the parlor right now waiting for everyone who wants to go on the tour. They even give you a souvenir garter so they know that you've paid. So I've got a Skagway, Alaska Red Onion Saloon garter. The souvenir I thought I never needed. And they have a whole parlor up here as people are waiting to come on the tour. It's actually a brilliant business model. If you saw that little clip of her on the stairs kind of advertising what was going on. Totally down with this, and I switched. I've been bitching about beers all day that are ambers being garbage. This is Alaskan Amber. I'm happy now. I tried 2 beers that are not Alaskan Amber and are ambers, and I learned my lesson. So let's go see some time with the negotiable ladies. I didn't even realize up here they have like actual ads, which YouTube is gonna just totally hate this right now for monetization purposes. But this video is already done, talking about weed, stuff like that. And you can see these are the actual ladies that worked here at this brothel. Yeah. So, kind of really cool. Big parlor room. Those pictures were from a judge in Juneau that donated those pictures to them. Really quite unique. Big parlor room. This is right on top of the Red Onion in Juneau. And I've legitimately been, not Juneau, sorry, Skagway. I've legitimately been to Skagway like 50 times. And I've never done this. So, we'll see. At the Red Onion Saloon. Cheers with Alaskan Amber.
All right, I got a big group tonight. I love it. Well, just in case you didn't hear me, my name is Madam May Duya. I'll be a personal horror story this evening. All right. The room that you're standing in is our Bombay room. It was an addition to this building in the very historic year of 2002.
Woo!
Yeah, not a lot of history, right? But this last stairway of heaven will be all the history you're going to need of the Brothel Museum. Now, a couple of ground rules. First and foremost, we are a look, don't touch establishment. That does mean the wallpaper, the artifacts, and your tour guide, okay? Our services have changed. Second, if you do have a drink in hand, that is perfectly fine, okay? I want you nice and lubricated when you go upstairs. But please make sure that that stays in your hand the entire time and then goes back downstairs with you at the end. Third, you can take as many videos and photos as you want. I love that. Please make sure, though, there's no flash photography. There's many light-sensitive artifacts upstairs. But there is one artifact in this very room that you can flash all you want. And that's this lovely red lantern right here. I have no idea what y'all were thinking. Now, this is one of two of the original red lanterns that hung outside the Red Onion Saloon all the way back in 1898 to let those thirsty miners know we were selling a little bit more than liquor in there. And as you can see, after over 120 years, she is still turned on. And lucky for y'all, at 5:30 p.m., so am I. All right, we're going to head on upstairs and do it, but just the tour, y'all, okay? Follow me. Please don't leave any personal belongings. We will not go back to this location. All right, follow me.
Bye-bye, folks. Enjoy.
I love your hat.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. It's really hot up here. Yes. There's no insulation. It is just wood. So if it's hot outside, it's like 10 degrees hotter in here. Let me pose for you, honey. Anybody notice this lovely sign right behind me? Oh yeah. Now a lot of people like to ask me, which one are you? And I said, honey, I'm both. Okay. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know. As we're walking in, guys, can we get a little bit closer to me just so everyone gets a chance in the room? Awesome. Thank you. I think there's a couple more people coming in and then we'll start. Don't worry, I won't bite unless you pay me extra, okay? All right, my loves. Well, welcome to the Red Onion Saloon. This building was built in 1897. It opened up in 1898 as a saloon and a brothel. So Skagway back in 1898 was filled with 15,000 men and 300 prostitutes. That kind of math makes me very tired, ladies. All right. Now, if you're one of those men, you would walk in downstairs, belly up to the bar, order yourself a shot of liquid courage, and notice behind the bartender 10 little dolls. Those 10 little dolls were made to look as closely as possible as the 10 live dolls living and working upstairs. To their hair color, eye color, even the color of the dress that they may or may not be wearing at the time. You would choose your doll based on those preferences, let the bartender know. He would take that doll and lay it on its back, indicating to everybody else she would be busy for the next 15 minutes. 12 minutes too long, am I right, ladies? Don't worry, we do love a good listener too, fellas, all right? You would then walk up a ladder-like staircase, be greeted by a bouncer. The bouncer would then lead you down a long, dark hallway to the lady of your choice. You would knock on the door, she would answer, and the first rule of prostitution would come to play. Anybody know what that rule is?
Money first.
Oh, a customer I see here. I thought you looked familiar, actually. But you are correct. You got to pay before you play, right? You would hand her $5 worth of golden coins. She would stash that in a safe place in her room. Y'all would have 15 minutes. He would go downstairs, and she would drop those coins in a small hole in the floor. That hole was connected by copper tubes that went all the way down to a safety deposit box right behind the dolls downstairs. So then the bartender hears that clickety-clank of the coin against the pipes, turns to see a very satisfied customer coming downstairs, turns to see which doll made so much noise upstairs, takes that doll and props it right back up to make sure everybody knows she's back in business once again. Now there's only one money hole left, and it's located in the corner that you just passed on the floor right beside the window and the door. See that little hole with the plate? Now if you do find that hole, please don't go sticking any money in it, y'all, okay? If you are willing to unload some useless cash, I can help you out the end right here, all right? Now, but the reason why, though, is that that hole is no longer connected by copper tubes because Madam Jan Rittmore, our current owner, decided that she wanted to build a kitchen downstairs when she purchased this in 1978. So because of that, they had to remove all the copper pipes. But it was a blessing in disguise. They lifted up the floorboards and they uncovered valuables that the girls had left 80 years prior. A lot of those valuables are displayed throughout the glass case over here. Now, as you're walking around, and once I leave, I'll get you to walk around a little bit more so you can see. But there is an electric curling iron right under this red lamp. We did have electricity back in 1898. We had knob and tube wiring. We actually still use it today if you look at those wires right there. Now, what a lady did to curl her hair back then, she had to climb on top of her bed, unscrew the light bulb, screw in that end of the curling iron piece to the light socket itself, wait for it to heat up, curl her hair in the dark, unscrew it, get the light bulb, screw it back, a whole lot of screwing just to curl your hair, you know, and they did that every day. Now, another artifact I love pointing out is the wallpaper. If you look, whether it is on the wall or you see it in a frame today, all the wallpaper you see is from 1898 and from the Onion Saloon. Now, what madams did back then to recruit women, they would walk the streets, find a woman they thought would make her money, walk up to that woman and say, hey, work for me. You'll be off the streets, I'll feed you and I'll clothe you, and you can even decorate your crib room any way you want, right down to the wallpaper. So an actual woman in history chose all the wallpaper you see today. Now, once we leave a room, we do not go back to that room. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to look around this room. I know it's a lot of y'all. Once you are finished looking around the room, I am going to actually be in this second room waiting for you. So just follow me in there when you're ready. Just don't take too long. This is a quickie, y'all, okay? All right, I'll see you in the second room. Please don't go down the hallway, okay? Well, welcome to the wallpaper room. If you look around, there's several layers of wallpaper in these frames. We uncovered 18 layers of wallpaper in one crib room. Back then we had 10 crib rooms, and we were only a brothel for 2 years. That meant we had a very high turnover rate. The main reason being, everybody that came through Skagway back then, they were in a rush to leave to get to Dawson City for that gold, men and women. But unfortunately, this town was also a very violent town. A lot of times the women would leave, and they would just never return. Now, it is said that our violent past has led us to our haunted present. There is still one lady from 1898 that walks these halls. Her name is Lydia. Lydia is our resident ghost here. You can often hear her walk in the halls early in the morning. I would like to think that was when she was getting off of work back then. But she likes to make her presence known in other ways. She's moved objects before. We've felt a gentle caress on our skin, smelt the scent of lilacs randomly, and experienced unexplained cold spots. This corner is actually 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the room. We found that out because a ghost hunting group did a thermal reading in this room. And this is also the corner that Lydia stayed in. Now, also in this corner is where a lot of our guests like to take pictures of their beautiful guide standing here. And a lot of times in those pictures through the years, people have seen orbs, white blurs, and some people have seen faces. So if you do end up taking a picture and you do see something, please let me know at the end. Now, also in this corner is a very beautiful dress, and you'll see it a whole lot better when you walk through. This dress we found this in an antique trunk with other clothes. It is made out of silver-plated copper pieces wrapped around linen and crushed into place. So a madam had to have owned this dress because only a madam could afford that. But it was not owned by our most famous madam here, Madam Diamond Lil Davenport. Now, Diamond Lil, she was a very unusual madam. Most madams only care for the money and the girls. She would care for men too, for a price. She would charge $100 for 1 hour with her, or $1,000 for one whole night. That was $35,000 back then. And people did pay it. But she did require each person bring 3 documents before they did anything. Number 1, a letter of recommendation. Number 2, a bill of clean health. And number 3, his most recent bank statement. Gotta make sure you have that money, right? I have applied this to my own love life. I am a very happy woman, so. Now, as she walked these halls, though, it wasn't at this location. This entire building was on 6th and State Street originally. In 1914, they moved this entire building with the strength of 1 horse and 4 rolling logs. And then a bunch of burly Alaskan men surrounded the building, pushed it all the way here, sat it down, and of course they're tired. They walk inside to have a drink. They're walking through the door, and they realize they're walking through the back door from the front of the street. They have put in the entire building backwards. That's what happens when men don't ask for directions. Now, we have this saying here, you can do things the right way, you can do things the wrong way, or you can do things the Skagway. Yep, and that's what they did. Instead of turning the building back around, they just shaved the front face and the back face of the building and swapped them. To this day, this building is technically still backwards. Now, before we go into the next 2 rooms, I am going to tell you what you see before you get there. They are very small. This next room is our only intact crib room, and it is set up similar to how a lady's room might look back in the day. A couple of things you're going to see. You're going to see a bed frame. This is one of the bed frames they used. It's a third of a twin-size bed. Keep in mind, these women worked and lived out of that same bed day and night. Also, you'll see a framed stocking. We found that stocking shoved in the walls. We believe people used it as a form of soundproofing or insulation back then. You're also going to see a couple of pinup posters when we were in Army barracks in World War II. And you're going to see a little small bottle of Lysol in a case. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Lysol originally was made as a female douche to sterilize and clean the women. If you think about that, it was very dangerous, it was very painful, and actually, what they used back then, it was 10 times stronger than what they use today. I cannot stress enough that these women were very strong, courageous, and very determined to survive what they went through back then. Now, across the hall is the madam's room. Now, these girls, they made $5 for 15 minutes of their services, but the madams did take 50% of that $5, and then the bouncers took 25% of that. They literally made $1.25 per trick. Now, it does not sound like a lot, but her room and board was paid for. They were fed and clothed, and if you compare it to a respectful job back then for a woman, maybe as a cook or a seamstress, she could only make $3 for a full day's worth of work. The cost of living per person per day back then was $6 a day to survive. A lot of these women came to Skagway for a better life. They found out very quickly it was almost impossible to survive off of a respectful job, and they fell into the sex trade just to eat, honestly. Now, that last room is also where Diamond Lil Davenport would have stayed, and she did not get her name for nothing. It was said she wore so many diamonds on her body back then, she could light up an entire hotel ballroom. Diamonds on each finger, each thumb, and a diamond garter on each thigh. But she made the first mistake of prostitution. Anybody know what that is?
Don't eat where you shut.
Well, no. Guess. She actually fell in love with the wrong man. That was the mistake. She fell in love with Big Joe Hopkins. Within 2 years of them being married together, unfortunately, he did gamble away all of her diamonds. She lost everything that she earned. Because of that, they separated. Later on in life, she ended up working at a bank as a scrub lady. And one day, a local reporter walked in that bank, noticed her as Diamond Lil from before, went up to her and said, "Diamond, what happened to you?" And she was quoted in the local newspaper saying, "Honey, I may be on my knees now, but at least this time it's in a respectful occupation." So she had a very nice sense of humor about everything. And with that, my lovely souls, our quickie has come to an end. What I'm going to do is go ahead of you and just go to your exit and open the door. If you did enjoy your time upstairs with me, you can turn this chest into a treasure chest. Feel free, just don't feel me, all right? If you are shy, I do have a tip jar at the end if you want, or you can tip downstairs on card at the gift shop. Madam May is your madam, so make sure you say that. And one more thing, when you walk downstairs, just look a little worn out for me, okay? Put a smile on your face. Men and women, I'm not picky, all right? All right, I'll see you at the exit, my loves.
Oh, wow. That's ready to get done.
So when did prostitution become illegal in Skagway?
It was illegal. Are you asking when it was illegal or
Illegal.
It was actually illegal back then.
Oh, really? So it was
Yeah.
never legal?
It was never legal. And actually, alcohol was also illegal. But both of those were a necessary evil, and so that's why they did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That brothel tour was actually pretty awesome. I gotta say, I've never done that before. I did not have a microphone on the lady leading the brothel tour, so I dealt with the microphone that was in the camera. So that was as good as I can make it for you. I hope you were able to hear what went on in that brothel tour. If not, I'll probably just mute it and voice over it and give you an idea of what happened there. But overall, really impressed with that brothel tour. For $10, you're not going to beat that. You could take a beer with you. Zero complaints. Now, I think there's one more brewery we haven't hit yet, so I'm going to try and hit that last brewery. Let me see. We went to Klondike. I forgot there were two Skagway Brewing Co. Two ones in Skagway. Skagway Skagway Brewing Company. I think there's actually one more brewery yes, there is, and it doesn't close till 9 p.m. It is now 5:51 p.m. Our boat leaves, well, all aboard is 7:30. So I chose the right brewery to go to earlier. We're gonna go to one more brewery. We're gonna do another tasting before we go back to the boat. So stick with me while I figure out where the hell the Skagway. It's right there. Yeah, it is. My mind works mysterious ways. Google Maps is like, nope, we're good, because the cell phone networks in Alaska, they get absolutely destroyed. The cell phone networks in Alaska, because they're meant for a couple, maybe 1,000 people, maybe 2,000 people, 8 cruise ships pull into a port holding 30, 40,000 people. What do you think happens? Now, this doesn't happen in the Caribbean because people don't have the roaming data. But here, it's America. So everyone's emails download, everything downloads. Idiots upload their blog footage. I don't really know who I'm talking about here. But yeah, I think so. Is that it? No. I think I literally walked to an empty building. I got excited. My brain was like, that's it. And yeah, I got excited walking to a hotel. That's just what happens. So I'm going to have to get my phone up and behaving, hit directions, and find our way. I think that's probably going to be our last activity of the day. It's going to be the Skagway Brewing Company. It's on 4th Avenue. So I think it's a 2-minute walk. Yeah, it's 1 block. 1 block over. So we'll see what cuts through here. E.g., nothing. So we'll go to the straight, and we're gonna do a giant U-turn, and hopefully wind up. Now, Skagway again is the gateway to the Klondike, and next time, when we're in Skagway, and what I mean next time, I mean 7 days from now, for the first time ever, for me, I'm going to do the entire Skagway Railroad, the entire White Pass and Yukon route, all the way to or from Canada. It really just depends on train operations for the day, whether we take a bus to Canada or we take a bus from Canada back to the United States. But it is a full day tour, so that's what I'll be doing next time. Definitely be taking you along on that. But today was all about what you do if you don't do that. The shows you go to, the brothels you visit. What's funny is Soapy Smith's Tavern, I don't know if you realize, remember we learned that Soapy Smith's Tavern was moved from where the bank used to be. And the brothel was right where the bank used to be. So one of those ladies there in the Soapy Smith show may have actually been the madam of Davenport. She said Davenport in there. May have been the madam of the brothel that Soapy ran. So, you know, as you do all these things in Alaska, and you start to put the pieces together, you're like, maybe this is more than just a random coinky-dink. And while I'm talking to myself, we've made it. Let's see, I think we made it. Yeah! Look at that. Look at that. I knew it was down one of these streets. Skagway's pretty laid out. 1st Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, 4th Street, 5th Street, 6th Street. It's a grid. And we've got the Skagway Brewing Company, which is still open. Let's go to the Skagway Brewing Company. Let's have a flight. Red Onion beer was actually made by the Skagway Brewing Company, so we're not going to have that. But we'll have a flight of some other others. So let's see what we can find in the Skagway Brewing Company and go from there. Because I thought there was only one brewery in town, but I guess there's 2. Let's see what they got. It does look like later in the day, the Skagway Brewing Company bar alone closes, which is not a problem because they've got dining and drinking upstairs. So we're going to visit the bar upstairs instead of the brewery downstairs. That's understandable as the number of tourists go down to not operate 2 separate venues, but just operate one. So I'm hoping, and I know, that I get bar around the corner. That's where we want to go, is to the bar at the Skagway Brewing Company. Again, the only place I've never been is up here. So I'm over at Skagway Brewing, at least for now. I decided not to get a flight, not even to get a beer. They have a full liquor bar, but they have these things on their little menu called a beer cocktail. And I like Moscow mules. This is called a Tongass mule, probably from the Tongass National Forest. It's got their spruce tip lawn, ginger syrup, and lime. And you see, it kind of looks like a cocktail, but the main alcohol in it's beer. They did tell me to mix it up, because all the ginger was on the bottom. So, let's see if it's any good. Well, that's really good. That's exceptional. I mean, it's not a straight beer, but this one's better than Alaskan Amber.
What's that?
I'm talking to my microphone. I'm like, this is not a straight beer, but this one's actually a better drink than Alaskan Amber. And that's like my favorite drink in Alaska. I'm sure you've tried this drink, this beer cocktail.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a pretty good drink.
Yeah, it's like a Moscow Mule.
It's like a Moscow Mule, but
beer.
the only thing in it is beer, right? There's no vodka or anything in it. It's actually a really good drink. Exceptional. I might get a flight here. We'll see. Then we'll start headed back to the boat, unless I can find one other thing that I happen to see on this menu. The thing I saw on the menu there was actually from Skagway Spirits, and I've never heard of Skagway Spirits Distillery. There's actually a distillery that has a 17-minute walk out of town, and I would do it if I was not pressing getting back to the boat, or number two, it wasn't already closed. They close at 5 or 6 p.m. So sadly, that's not going to be a place we're going to go. But if you want to venture out of town, 17-minute walk, and guess what? Venture out of town. We didn't do this today. We just didn't have the time. You can actually visit the childhood home of Sarah Palin. And you might go, why the fuck would I want to visit the childhood home of Sarah Palin? Because you can literally stand in the backyard of the childhood home of Sarah Palin. And you could go, hey, yeah, my name's Sarah Palin. I'm the governor of Alaska. And I can see Russia from my backyard. So you can actually stand in Sarah Palin's backyard, and you can see Russia from her backyard. So, if you wanted to do that, that is something you can do here. Just look it up on Google Maps to see Sarah Palin's backyard. It's a thing. Yeah. Alright, so unfortunately, Skagway Brewing is kind of out of town a bit, but fortunately, they do have over here at the Skagway Brewing, Skagway Distilling. We're at Skagway Brewing. Skagway Distilling is a bit out of town and already closed, like you saw, but they do actually have a Moscow Mule here. Now, my cocktail glass got a little smaller. This is a cocktail and not a beer cocktail. This is actually a Moscow Mule made with vodka from Skagway. It's a good drink. It's a good Moscow Mule, and they still call it a Moscow Mule here because we're just a couple miles from Russia, as Sarah Palin says. And all of Alaska is like one giant chowder and chili cook-off. So we got a bowl of chili here because you got to get a bowl of chili at every place you go that offers a bowl of chili because they're all so distinctly different, so unique, have different toppings and everything like that. So, bowl of chili. Every Alaska chili has a different taste to it, and guess what? I'm here for it. I think this is the last stop. We're gonna maybe hit a couple souvenir stores on the way back to the boat, but we got an hour till all aboard on the boat. So we gotta get back to the boat, maybe have a little bit of dinner in the dining room if the menu looks good, or we might go check out the Lido, but that's not gonna be in this video. That'll be in the cruise ship review. But from the Skagway Brewing Company, having some Skagway Distilling vodka. This day that started out kind of rough in Skagway has turned out pretty damn cool. So I've got exactly an hour till all aboard. It is 6:30 now. I don't know if that's showing backwards on your screen. I decided I wanted to get the last beer cocktail here because the first beer cocktail was really good. The last beer cocktail is the Rhubarb Shandy. It's got their juicy pale ale, rhubarb syrup, and lemonade in it. And like I said, it's in a big boy cocktail glass, unlike the cocktail because it's not as strong. But I'm gonna give it a little mix up with some sturdy paper straws. I do like that. Ooh. Ooh. That's a good one too. Now, of note, up here on the top floor of the Skagway Brewing Company, they don't limit your alcohol consumption, which if you've watched the last 2 days, that's probably a really bad idea. But there's no 32-ounce limit up here like every other brewery we've been to in the past 2 days, minus I think what was the name of that one? I don't know, the restaurant we went to, we had the chicken sandwich at earlier. But I'm giving myself enough time, with extra time, to stop by some gift shops. It is going to take me about 30 minutes to walk back to the ship, but I know I'm going to stop by the train station, watch the trains come in for the night, and everything like that. So I'm going to finish this drink, and I'm going to get moving on back to the Carnival Luminosa, because tomorrow we head to the fjords, and that'll be an interesting time. And everybody back on the ship has been standing on the back of the ship watching whales for the past 3 hours for free. So anybody who booked whale watching now feels like a moron because you got free whale watching on the back of the Luminosa. I myself would rather go to SeaWorld Just watch the whales there. They blow a little whistle, and the whales come out, open their mouth, flap their tails, everything like that. So I'm not really blown away by whale watching. I don't get it. But we're going to start heading back in a few minutes back to the Carnival Luminosa cruise ship, which is probably about a half an hour walk from here, if I'm in all seriousness. But all aboard at 7:30. I will be probably one of the last people to get on board, unless the train, that long 8-hour, 10-hour train that I'm going to go on next week, hasn't gotten back yet. So we'll talk about some final thoughts on my day in Skagway on the way back. See you there. You know, as I'm leaving Skagway Brewing Company, I do love this sign. It literally says, no Wi-Fi, talk to each other. It's kind of like the epitome of the time that we live in now. So again, you know, I have to tell you, I had a grand old time at the second floor of Skagway Brewing Company. I've never been here before. I'm gonna make a statement that's gonna really blow some of your friggin' minds. If you watched my Alaska Brewing Company video yesterday, it's a harsh statement to make. I actually think in the state of Alaska, for the environment, I'm not saying the beer, I think Skagway Brewing Company, second floor, never been to the second floor before, only been to the tasting room on the first floor. Skagway Brewing Company is friggin' fire. They have no limits on what you can drink. You can see I had, I think, a little bit more than my 32 ounces that are right there available. But you're going to see a very different Skagway right now. We're headed back. All the cruise ships are doing last call for passengers now. I have 40 minutes to get back, and it's going to take me a good 25 or 30 minutes walking at this pace. But just take a look at this Skagway compared to Skagway earlier. Look at this. Look at this. Not a soul. It's literally a ghost town of Skagway. I mean, there's not a soul. All you see are mountains, people getting off work, taking their cars around. So you see more cars right now than anything else, because guess what? People are finally getting off of work. But just look at this town. Look at the beauty of this town. If you've been with me since the beginning of this video, you're saying, hey Rich, your mood has changed a lot. You know why? Because people watch this channel, and when I meet people in real life, I really do. I love meeting people in real life that watch this channel. We'll sit and we'll talk. I don't bullshit. I don't get paid by any cruise line. I don't get paid by an establishment. And I can take a shit day and make it a great one. Skagway started as a shit day. I took it, I turned it around, and I think by the end, I found a new favorite brewery, a new favorite restaurant, a new favorite all that in Alaska. I was pissed when we started because barbecue wasn't open. I was pissed an hour and a half ago because the ice cream closed early. I was pissed because the fry bread was closed. But here's what we do at No Pants Profits. And I mean, this is life. This was originally an investing channel. And I said, shit, the market's gone to crap. Exactly like I thought Skagway went earlier in the day. And you know what you look for? You look for that gold lining. So, from Skagway, Alaska, headed back to the ship, and I'm not just talking like a normal Skagway, I'm talking an empty Skagway. I'm in the middle of the road right here. From Skagway, Alaska, not on any tour, not on anything that any cruise ship told me to do, just having a great old time in Skagway. This is Richard from No Pants Profits. You know, I thought he was coming at me. In Skagway, Alaska, an absolutely empty Skagway, reminding you that, like me, because I'm literally wearing shorts today. Oh, yeah, I gotta do this. Let's close this the right way. Let's close this in an empty street in the middle of Skagway. I am literally wearing shorts today and want to remind you, from the street in the middle of Skagway, Alaska, when you wear no pants, wearing no pants, there's only one thing you got left to lose, and that is your shirt. There's a tour bus behind me. I'm gonna die. Have a great one, everyone, and I will see you in our next port of call. Bye. Hey guys, little prologue to that video. Believe it or not, I am actually the last guest getting back on board. I'm here 16 minutes before all aboard. So, come at me, bro. But I am the last guest getting on board the Carnival Luminosa. I even got the guest services guy who's following me back on as the last guest. So, yeah. That's the thing I didn't think I would accomplish, or nothing's wrong. The right time. But I am the last guest coming back on board the Carnival Luminosa today. So, yeah, I give myself that credit in this video to actually be number 0, number 1, number whatever, because everyone else is back on board than me. Let me bang in and they can get sailing.